CCW fans, welcome back to CCW Insider. We are back again, another week of Insider. And of course, I'm your CCW correspondent, Tyler Cashmere, joined by my broadcast partners, Axel Rome and Lizzie Almeida. Lizzie, Axel, how are we feeling? Another week of Insider.
Another week of Insider, but I don't know about you guys who were able to experience at least that 4-weekend show, but already heading into this weekend, I'm a little tired, but I'm really looking forward to Breakout 36 Soul Survivor. It's going to be one heck of a show, and I couldn't be more excited to be part of my very first Soul Survivor here with CCW and get to experience that in person, but also get to watch how this match plays out.
Lizzie, I know you have a little bit more experience than us. You're always at these breakouts. You're always at all these shows. Is it still exciting? Is that feeling still there?
Of course it is. I think I'll stop doing it when I stop having that feeling. I don't think that, especially like when you're working, obviously sometimes I'll go to shows and I'm not announcing and stuff like that, but I still get to go and experience it. But it just never gets old because you still get that thrill and that rush. And especially when we have a new type of match, like Soul Survivor's coming up, we're really excited for it.
Yeah, no, this Soul Survivor match, easy for me to say, should be really interesting. Can't wait to break that one down. And we're going to break down all of Breakout 36. And we're also going to have a very special guest join us for that. But before we get to that, we got to run that intro. So, speaking of that very special guest, let's get him on in here. He is the one and only, the most metalhead in all of professional wrestling. He's not only a Killmeister, because now he's a Cruisemeister. He is your CCW Cruiserweight Champion, Ozzy Killmeister, joining us on Insider. Ozzy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the excellent introduction. The Cruisermeister appreciates you.
Obviously not. Yeah, I mean, so much you've had to do to gain that championship. I know, being a fan, watching your road here in the last territory, finally achieving that goal of reaching singles gold. And I know Axel, our main man here, he's got a bunch of questions for you. And Axel, why don't you kick things off?
Well, Ozzy, thank you for joining us. Let's get started a little bit with just talking about this past weekend for you. You were one of the only few superstars that I know that was part of Thursday Thunder over at Homestead, Battle in Nashville. Then you showed up to Rumble in the Jungle, and then you finished off the weekend with BRCW and Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Can you tell me about how this past weekend was not only for you, but also for just the company as a whole? How did it all go there in Nashville? How did it go in Homestead? And of course, Rumble in the Jungle and BRCW.
Not only is it an honor, but a privilege, but I would love to see any company try to do what we just did last weekend. Homestead is what it is. A Thursday show is a Thursday show. Still, every poser in the building out in full force, all Aussie shirts. Thursday and very little sleep, mind you, in those 4 days. Very little sleep, mind you. Flying to Nashville, getting off the plane, going right to the venue. I was rumbling all weekend, moshing, rumbling, banging my head all weekend. Get to Nashville, deal with that poser Dylan, come back to Doral, get to mosh with Chris Ferro and Julio Caesar, and then Sunday just get to embody and set the ring up and be there for that show. Outside of CCW and BRCW, man, I don't think any company could do what we did. I'm glad I was able to sleep finally, honestly.
And if I could just touch a little bit on you being part of that historic 8-man tournament to crown the first ever Tennessee heavyweight champion. Of course, the winner of that match was the former international champion, the Code, Colby Carter. But what was it like for you to be part of that 8-man tournament in order to crown that first ever champion that now CCW is expanding to Tampa? We've known that, but now also setting the seeds or planting the seeds over there in Nashville for us to thrive and grow over there with those shows that we're doing, I think, bi-monthly or every 3 months.
Yeah, it's like every quarterly, every 3 months type gimmick. Same thing as like Port St. Lucie. The Texas Troubadour Theater has very quickly become our home in Nashville. I think this is maybe the third or fourth show. We were at Redcon for a long time. Helios Granite before that. The fans come out in full force at that venue, and they're ready to mosh. They're ready to get down in Nashville, man. Such a great tournament with so many great talents. Nice little couple of surprises thrown in there. Being in there, that tournament, Cha Cha Charlie, Chase Stevens, Dylan McQueen, Jaden Newman, LG3, so many people in that tournament were just on point. You know, Elliot Crow, even though he's a poser, some poser named Hunter Drake. I don't know, but I'm mad that I'm not Tennessee heavyweight champion, but I'm so happy for Colby because he deserved that and earned that. So it was right place, right time, right things aligning in the universe to get him that. Nashville does rock, Matt. See, not a poser. That guy's not a poser.
Absolutely not. No, Matt, Nashville rocks and you rock. Not a poser at all.
But Ozzy, something that you could be happy for is because I was at least fortunate enough to be there the night that you won the CCW Cruiserweight Championship. So really walk us through that night, that moment, and really winning your first title here in CCW, a singles title run for you. So really elaborate a little bit on how that night went for you.
Man, that whole day is a blur just because I still have all the responsibilities I normally have. Nothing changes. If anything, I have more responsibilities as a champion, and I take that, put them on the fucking biggest shoulders in the cruiserweight division. But man, having my brother there, having the match of Ariel Dominguez to begin with was crazy for me because, you know, first day in the business, before I started training, I showed up. I was like, I want to learn how to build a ring. Ariel was there, so that was really cool to have him be the guy in that match. I feel bad for headbutting his teeth down his throat, but I can't really, gotta win. So that's what I do. I mosh and I headbutt people. So, and he had that moment too at the end. You saw it actually. Yeah. He grabbed it. He wasn't happy about it, but he begrudgingly handed the belt over because that night I was the better man. 1 in a trillion chance too.
Indeed. What many people, I guess, don't know really is what that Cruiserweight champion means for you. I saw an interview of yours last week, and you really shared a personal story of what just being in the Cruiserweight division now means for you. Can you tell us a little bit more about the history that you have with the Cruiserweight Championship and what it means to you now to be our CCW Cruiserweight champion?
So when I was 14, 15 and a backyarder like half the wrestlers nowadays, I was 145 pounds, guys. I was tiny. I had no muscles. I was small. So I always thought I would be a cruiserweight. And then life happens, you get big and blah, 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 blah. But I had a moment in my life where it was either I don't have a life anymore or I try to be a wrestler. So it worked. And in that moment, the thing that made me have that decision was the WWE's Cruiserweight Classic. That got not only back into wrestling, but back into life. And to be CCW Cruiserweight champion, have a brand new belt, untouched by the hands of posers, which it will remain that way, means more than I can put words out of my mouth. And I have pretty good vernacular, but yeah, you're gonna have to kill me to take this from me.
And Tyler, for you, were mentioning just seeing Ozzy's journey. So what's it been like sitting at ringside really and just now getting to a chance to now call Ozzy's matches as a Cruiserweight champion, as he's now going to be the defending Cruiserweight champion. We know he has a plethora of opponents already lined up for him. So what's that going to be like for you, man?
I mean, already Ozzy Killmeister has been defending that Cruiserweight Championship at Homestead. Impromptu challenge by Joe Garcia, one half of the Night Riders. Joe Garcia climbing the ranks, even though he's a poser, Ozzy, you have to admit it, gave you one hell of a fight for that championship.
100%.
And just came up just short, but the Macho Man, he got it done with that whiplash. And we've been seeing that whiplash used more and more to put away opponents. At Rumble in the Jungle, same thing. And what a team that was at Rumble in the Jungle. But something me and Jackal talked about is, man, this cruiserweight division, Ozzy, it's getting stacked with young guys. You got guys like Joe Garcia, Julio Caesar, guys that are just getting better and better. And then you got the staples like Chris Farrow, S2S, that are always lingering around. I mean, how do you look at these challenges? Do you have someone that you're looking forward to facing? I mean, it's a stacked time to be a cruiserweight in the last territory.
I agree. And eventually my goal is to go through every former cruiserweight champion, prove my dominance, prove that I deserve to be in this division, prove that I deserve this title. And then I want people that people that maybe don't come to CCW that often, or maybe haven't been to CCW, that would be a cruiserweight, that would like a shot at this title. That is also a goal. However, being what Blake Howard referred to me as the engine of CCW, I am going to push through and continuously prove why I'm the most medal cruiserweight champion of all time. And by doing that, I've already done half of the work, because I have wrestled every person in CCW, whether I've won or I've lost. But I hold wins over Chris Farrow. I hold wins over Elliot Crow. I hold wins over S2S, 2 to be specific. One of them was for the Coastal Cup tournament. The only one is Jay Vidal.
Oof.
So that's somebody that is at the top of the list.
Man, I mean, I can't wait to look forward to that call that on ringside. I mean, man, Jay Vidal had one hell of a match at Rumble in the Jungle too. Great show that was Saturday night.
Fantastic.
Lizzie, got anything for Ozzy?
Yes, I have a really serious question for you, Ozzy, and I hope you're ready for it. So you won that belt last week. It was last week or 2 weeks ago now? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Has that belt left your side? Have you showered with and slept with that belt every night since then, or are you giving it a rest?
I plead the fifth. No. No, I try to take care of it. It does stay close to my bedside just so I know where it is. But not doing any Shawn Michaels stuff anytime soon. That was almost a spit take. You drank water at the wrong time. I didn't mean to do that either. That would have been funny.
That'd be an unbelievable Instagram post to wake up to by the Macho Man.
Right on Botchamania. Yeah, no, I try to take very good care of this. So,
it is very beautiful to see. For any of our fans that don't really get to see, some of us in our backstage area where we're just, doing our own thing. It's really nice to see someone like Ozzy walking around with the Cruiserweight Championship, taking so well care of it. And it's like, if I were in his position, I know that I probably would be doing the same thing. Maybe even like cradling it like a baby, rocking it to sleep before I go to bed, saying good night, kissing it, saying I love you. But you know what? To each their own. To each their own. So moving on, Ozzy, I really wanted to talk about also your upcoming matches here that you're going to be having for your Cruiserweight Championship. But before we break down some of that, let's take a quick break, if we can, my man Tyler, and then we'll be back to break down Soul Survivor with Ozzy Killmaster, who's going to be one of the men that are going to be defending their championships, as well as another series of matches that we'll be breaking down for you guys. So let's see a little commercial break.
Don't be.
Attention wrestling fans, the place to be each and every Tuesday is on the Coastal Championship Wrestling YouTube channel, where a new episode of CCW Alive Wrestling drops at 7 p.m. Witness the hard-hitting, high-flying action that is synonymous with the longest-running independent wrestling promotion in the southeastern United States. Subscribe today, and don't you dare miss it.
That's right. Just like you can check out CCW Insider every Wednesday at 7-ish. I know we started a little late this week, but on Tuesdays at 7, you can also catch CCW Live Wrestling, which has a lot of our matches that many people who don't get to go out to our shows experience it at least at the comfort of their home or at work, wherever you want to watch some of our shows. Our most prominent show that you guys do see on our YouTube channel are our Bashes at the Brews. I know we add a little bit like the anniversary show that we just had back in Port St. Lucie to celebrate our 20 years. But if you ever miss some of our shows, if you tune into our YouTube channel, that's going to be one of the best bets for you guys to go and watch some of the matches that you may not have watched. But there's no better experience than to watch the Last Territory in person. So that means get your tickets at ccwrestlingfl.com. Join us this Saturday for our Breakout 36 show, Soul Survivor. But also follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It will always be Twitter to me, guys, or X at CCW Alive TV. But without further ado, Tyler, let's talk about some of our Soul Survivor Breakout 36 matches. What are we going to start with?
Let's talk about it, right? Breakout 36. It's unbelievable. Already 36 breakouts. And look who's on front of the poster, the Macho Man. And you know, I mean, Axel, I think we talk about it a lot. We just love this breakout show. It's a great way to cap off the end of the month after all these shows the Last Territory does. It just highlights all of the best talent we have here in the Last Territory, all the homegrown talent. It gives new talent a chance. And then sometimes we've been seeing talent all over Florida come in and prove themselves at breakout. And it's going to be no different here at 36 Soul Survivor. So let's kick things right off with this tag team match. You got the Exiled versus the Raw Dogs. They have been at each other's throats since the very beginning. Since both groups formed, it seemed like Raw Dogs and the Exiled, when the Exiled were a part of the Invoked, obviously, the Exiled have to be dealing with NVIDIA separating from the Invoked. We know Ozzy Killmeister could tell us a lot more about that. But the Raw Dogs, like they say, they're always on top. Young, up-and-coming team. It's always great to see these two teams go at it. And Ozzy, why don't you let us know your take on this?
I hate that guy's mustache. I hate saying the Raw Dogs on top. And the other guys scare the ever-living crap out of me. That's as basic.
That is as it gets when it comes to the Raw Dogs and the Exiled. Hey, I'm a Raw Dogger. What can I say? Raw Dogs on top.
Stop saying that.
Honestly, like even just announcing it, sometimes I'm like laughing as I say it because it still hasn't sunken in that that's their name. But I mean, it works. It works. The Raw Dogs.
Hey, they're one of the fastest climbing groups we have seen here in the Last Territory. I mean, they hold wins over the Invoked. They're one of the first teams to actually win against the Invoked back to back.
This is true.
And all three of those guys, James Tapia, Elliot Crow, Fer Rojas, and they are just getting better and better every time I see them. And then you got not the Invoked because they separated from the Invoked, the Exiled.
They've been
exiled. And Aatrox has learned how to talk. He's pissed off. The entity is pissed off. Yeah, we don't. We have no idea.
Ask questions. I don't ask questions.
Yeah, and they are very scary to interview. We duck them.
I'm pretty sure he used Duolingo.
So, Axel, who do you got going into this one?
Well, like we were just joking with the Raw Dogs. They're a great team. They're a funny team. They're a team that you can kind of, go get a drink with at the bar with. But I don't think that you should also what am I thinking of? You can't believe that they're underestimate. There you go, Ozzy. You can't believe that they are just because always very fun in the ring. They do have their serious side. And I think when we've seen them against people like the Exile, they want to show that they are not a team to mess with or take lightly. So what better way than to take on the Exile? Now, with Exile, I would also be a little skeptical of getting in the ring with them. Not sure how they've really managed their whole exile or being pushed out of the Invoked or really leaving the Invoked. But it's going to be interesting to see if NVIDIA or my God, the Scarecrow, I forgot his name, Veritas. There we go. Veritas actually are going to continue, playing mind games with the Exiled. And we know that NVIDIA and Veritas are very good at mind games. So is the Win. So when you have 3 against 2 in this type of setup, I never believe that they're far away. I know NVIDIA has this thing where she likes to creep up on people. If Ozzy, you would know from experience a little bit. So it's something to keep in the back of the mind for Exiled. Yes, they want to also prove themselves here in the tag team division against the Raw Dogs, but it's something you got to be mindful of at the end of the day going into this match for the Exiled. And the Raw Dogs can definitely use that to capitalize or take advantage of and possibly walk away with the victory. So it's going to be up to anyone to see who is able to stay on top. No pun intended. No Raw Dogs. There you go. But just to stay on top of their games. No pun intended.
And Ezra, to answer your comment here, when it comes with the Invoked and the Exiled, Aatrox and the Entity were really used as the muscle almost by NVIDIA. I mean, she had these guys under her thumb, under her control, and any little thing they did, it seemed like, at least being on commentary, they would bicker back and forth until finally Aatrox just snapped. Something mentally snapped with Aatrox. He gained his voice. He stepped up with the Entity behind him and said, "We are being exiled. We are not under your control anymore." And with Veritas by her side, I mean, she turned Veritas and the Wince against them, turned her back on them, and exiled them. Fitting name, I know. And that is how this has all started between them. Lizzie, what do you think about all this?
So I think that just first and foremost, no one knows NVIDIA better than Ozzy. So I mean, we saw this past weekend. She gets involved and she's very distracting. So I think that if Entity and Aatrox can kind of just keep their heads in the game and ignore the mind games and things like that, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. You see them really like growing together as a team, and they're definitely on the same page. And I can say the same thing for the Raw Dogs. I mean, I think we're in like Raw Dogs 2.0 now. But the three, no, but in all
fleshed out. They got rid of that poser, so
the pack always evolves.
Drop the weaklings. The three of them this weekend at Rumble in the Jungle. They were part of a fatal 4-way, and you saw like they're like this with each other now. I mean, I think that they've really they're thick as thieves, and they're not anything to play with. So I am going to conservatively say though the Exiled on top this weekend.
Ooh. Fair Rojas watching at home not gonna like that.
I think the Entity is gonna turn Elliot Crow into a power bottom, and he's not gonna have a choice.
Man, we will have to see. That's going to be a big tag team match. And let's look at this singles match coming up. Cha-Cha Charlie taking on the prolific one in Noah King, making his way back to the last territory. Yeah, Ozzy, you're very familiar with both these men. What are you thinking of?
Funny story. The first Soul Survivor match, I beat Noah King.
Wow.
At Breakout forever ago, 2 years, whatever it was. That's actually the night that I turned over a new leaf because Noah shoved NVIDIA down, and I was like, well, that's what a poser would do, and I'm not a poser, so I don't like that. And I changed my whole outlook, and it's been since then. But Noah King, doesn't matter how long he's been gone, that man is prolific. He does not get rusty. So we'll have to see what Cha-Cha can do and bring to the table against a guy that has been just watching, learning, and getting better this whole time.
Yeah. No, every time I'm in the training facility, I always see Noah King around, always learning, always watching tape, always in the ring, always getting better. Axel, how do you think the face of the franchise's chances look in this one?
So up until this point, I was a little unfamiliar with Noah King. But so for this, I had to dig a little deep and find some of the matches I was able to find online. And like you guys mentioned, we may not have seen him for a while here in CCW, but he probably, once he steps inside a CCW ring, you'll realize that he has not missed a step. And to go up with someone like Cha-Cha Charlie, that's going to be definitely a proving point for Noah King to remind the fans, to remind our CCW audience that no matter how long someone goes without being at one of our shows that we do monthly, don't ever take them lightly. Like Jay Vidal, it's been a minute since we've seen Jay Vidal also in CCW. I know he comes and goes, but he's just proven with his match with AJ Francis that he can still go toe-to-toe with people that are to his caliber or above and still deliver a great match. So with Noah King, I'm really looking forward to see this match just to see how he's going to be able to battle someone like Cha-Cha Charlie. I mean, when we think of CCW, we think Cha-Cha Charlie, we think Jackal Stevens, we think Ozzy, we think Ariel Levy. But to get into the ring and make a name for yourself, or just have that win over someone like Cha-Cha Charlie, that's just goes on the records as something monumentous in my book, or in my opinion, I would say.
Yep.
No, absolutely. And like you said, I think it's a great opportunity anytime someone steps foot, either making their return to the last territory, making their debut. You go up against the face of the franchise, Cha-Cha Charlie. You got to bring your A game, because getting a win over him in singles competition, I mean, it shoots you to the moon. What do you think, Lizzie? Does the prolific one get it done? Prolific one. Hey, it's been a tongue-tied night tonight. Lizzie, does he get it done?
Well, I just saw that my twin, Johnny Be Good, shared that Noah King won the last Soul Survivor match. So I think, Johnny, thank you for reminding us to put some respect on Noah's name. I also think, I mean, listen, he's well rested, right? Cha-Cha's been on the road every single weekend. Cha-Cha wrestled 4 times last weekend. Noah King could catch him sleeping. Let's see how we do.
He definitely can. And before we go to the next matches, we got a bunch of questions lined up in here. Boss B asks Ozzy, when are you going to the next Taylor Swift show? Big Swifty, huh, Ozzy?
Are you?
Oh, God. No, I'm the farthest thing from it. I know who that is, though. That's funny.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little Taylor Swift. You know, with the moshing, you can mosh. You could teach the Swifties how to mosh.
Careful. Careful.
Joey Garcia says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Joey?"
What's up, Joey?
Off topic. How do you guys feel on Skids versus Ozzy? Man, that is going to be very interesting. Also, that confidence. I mean, I had a feeling like going into Conquer Kissimmee, Ozzy, like you were on your A game, because before that, you literally in the ring, me and Dan were shocked, telling Skids, "Hey, when I win this championship, you, my friend, will be first in line." That I don't even know. That is just insanity. That singles match is going to blow people's minds.
My reasoning is not only does Skits deserve a shot at this belt, not only has he earned with his work in and out of the ring to get to this belt, he's my best friend in this life. Can you imagine the stuff that me and him are going to do in there? I know him better than anybody, and he knows me better than anybody. I know all his tricks. I literally know all of his magic tricks because he's done them to me. Like, I'm ready to go out there, have a great match to give to the fans at Unbranded for their support of me and him, because that's what got me to this. So That's the least I can do. If my buddy beats me, at least it's my buddy and not some poser.
Right.
That's how I feel about that.
I can't wait to call that one. It's going to be insane, fans. You can't miss that one. But Alan S2S says he doesn't care because he says, "I'm the best of CCW. Change my mind."
I can't change your mind because it's true.
Say it louder for the people in the back, Alan.
I always say Alan S2S Martinez could be pound for pound the best in-ring competitor we have here at the last territory. With that being said, Johnny Be Good says, "I got you, twin." Back to Lizzie, and let's continue on with this one. As we just brought him up, Alan S2S Martinez taking on John Havoc. Let me tell you guys something about John Havoc.
He's a poser.
Tell us.
Ozzy Killmeister will tell that everybody is a poser, but John Havoc, man, this guy has been busting his tail as of late. He has been there at the Homestead show. He made his debut at the last Breakout, getting an upset victory over Pretty Rich Wise. And Ozzy, I think you can agree, even though John Havoc's a poser, you got to love seeing Pretty Rich Wise eat a pin. And I'm sorry, Pretty Rich Wise, I know you're seeing this, but you just do a little too much in that ring. But John Havoc has a great opportunity to climb up the ranks of the Cruiserweight division. And what a way to do that, getting a win over Alan S2S Martinez. But will he be out experienced? What do you think, Axel?
hold on one second, Axel. I have actually a comment on that.
Of course.
Just because Allen is small doesn't mean that he's not looking right at QT Marshall.
That's true.
I'm just saying, Allen has been cruiserweight champion before. He hasn't had luck at Southeastern or tag, but I see Allen S2S Martinez as CCW heavyweight champion in the near future.
And
I just need everybody else to understand that vision.
To that point, to get to that opportunity, he's going to have to pick up matches like this, these singles matches, and get wins over these guys.
100%.
And then maybe challenge someone like an Alex Chamberlain or
Stallion Rogers.
A Stallion Rogers.
He beat Stallion Rogers at Bash. He's been in the ring with Eddie Torres. He's going through heavyweights like gum. He's just chewing them up and spitting them out. I'm just saying, dude, don't discount Allen.
Right. So CCW management, you hear that? Allen S2S Martinez, he's been there. He deserves a damn shot, especially if he gets a but John Havoc can spoil that. Axel, will Havoc be able to?
Just like you mentioned, John Havoc can spoil that, but like we know, anything can happen in the world of pro wrestling. And what Ozzy just brought up was a lot of my points. When you talk about Allen S2S Martinez, yes, a win like this could propel him to a possible future CCW World Championship match. But let's not take away from the people who he's stepped into the ring recently and who he's got wins over. Like you mentioned, Stallion Rogers, right? He took on Eddie Torres. He's taking on people twice his size, and he's proving that, like Lizzie said also in a previous CCW undershow, Allen S2S Martinez is long past being an underdog. He is someone who is world championship material. It's just a matter of when, right? And so for this match, I feel maybe Allen doesn't have a lot to lose, but John Havoc does maybe have a lot more to gain in this match. But to take Allen S2S Martinez lightly, that's not going to help John Havoc in this matchup. But for this match, I see more of a learning experience for John Havoc to be able to get to step inside the ring with Allen S2S Martinez, someone who is so accomplished in CCW, and you really use that match as a learning experience of, I'm getting in the ring with one of the best here at CCW, and credit to both men that are going to give it their all. But it's really going to be very interesting at the end of the day when we see Allen S2S Martinez in another match, and we see something that we probably never seen him pull out of his repertoire to continue proving why he's in the path that he is in now, and why that's going to probably lead to a future championship match. But of course, for John Havoc, there's a lot riding on him, so he better bring his A game at the end of the day for this type of matchup.
Lizzie, what do you? Oh, go ahead, Ozzy.
No, go ahead, Lizzie.
Who is Jesus Valentine? Is he on John Havoc's payroll?
Probably. I've never heard Havoc time. That's Vader time, brother. Vader time.
Sorry, John. You have a long ways to go before you can beat Allen. Allen all day. My money's on him.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I give him a sweet welcome to the game. That's what I'm talking about. Si se puede. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong. But wasn't S2S the first guy to pin Ariel Levy while he was champion at Bash in a tag match?
That was true. That was true. Yeah. Just saying.
Hey, the way we're going, we need a Si se puede movement this summer. The summer of S2S, I think we should push for it.
Summer of S2S sounds great. Sounds like money.
Oh, I love this.
And hey, it could start at Breakout. All he's got to do is just get through John Havoc, but it's not going to be easy. Can't wait for that one. And you know what? The man of the hour is here. The Cruisermeister putting up that gold once again, that CCW Cruiserweight Championship. Finally, we're going to see this match for that Cruiserweight Championship against Nick Turner. It's been delayed. I've seen you and the Desperado go at it before, and you guys are vicious in there against each other. I love it every time. Now, gold on the line in this singles match, Cruiserweight Championship gold. Ozzy, how you feeling headed into this one?
Feeling great. I've had many a battle, as you stated, with the Desperado. I'm familiar enough with his new move, the Desert Rose, that if he tries to hit it on me, I'm not going to let him. Because then I don't know if I'm able to kick out of it. It's that devastating. I don't know if anybody in CCW has seen it yet, but I've seen him just pick up a guy on the side of the road and just grab him and drop him on his head. So we'll see if we'll see what he can pull out. See if he's learned anything in the time he's taken off. But I'm faster, I'm lighter, and I'm cruisier now. So let's see what Cruisermeister and Desperado brings to the table at Breakout.
It really will be interesting to see how he adapts to kind of this new style you have adapted to. Like you said, being faster, being that cruiserweight now. And Axel, how do you think Desperado's chances in this one? And no pressure that the champion is in the Insider.
Is this appropriate?
I'm listening, Axel.
Well, knowing the history that you two have had, you guys know each other in and out of the ring. It's going to be very interesting, as you mentioned, to see how this new Desperado and this new metalhead that in styles are going to be able to bring to the table. I think it's going to be a match that we've never seen, but like we've never seen before when the two of you have squared off in the ring. I think it's going to be a bit more fast paced, and we are talking about the cruiserweight division. But it's going to be just interesting to see these new styles that you both are bringing to the table. Like you mentioned, I've seen Nick Turner outside of CCW practicing on or doing some new movesets, and it's very impressive. It's things that I have not seen here in CCW. Left me wondering, are our guys going to be able to, are they going to be ready for when Nick Turner does start coming back here to CCW, and to have you be one of the first people that he gets to share the ring with in this kind of high caliber match? It's going to be very interesting to see if he's able to sneak the upset Aussie and maybe steal the victory, or we might see a heavy metal celebration at the end of the night. Could go either way. How's that for an answer, champ?
Johnny, be good on your question. What was that? Can we bring that question back?
Can I just call you a new metalhead?
New metal. The new metal champion.
There you go.
What genre is new metal? What would that be?
Slipknot, Limp Bizkit.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Hey,
X.
new metal champion. That's not sounding too bad. But Lizzie, will the Desperado spoil the new metal champion?
I'm gonna be oh my god, unlimited eye contact right now. Under duress, I'm going to say Aussie just because he's
not under duress. No. I want to know. Hey man, Nick has brought it to me every time we've been in the ring, so it wouldn't be out of the realm for him to pull out a win.
He definitely has. No, the Desperado is one of those guys I always say, all business, no games at all. He comes out there ever since adopting this Desperado persona. He really just doesn't care about the fans. He kind of just stares daggers straight through his opponents. And man, he is as legit gets. He'll take you down. He'll tie you in a knot. Then he'll beat you over the head. And any one of his shots, he throws some nasty knees in the guillotine. Any one of those knees can just put your lights out. And it's so dangerous when you're in there with a Desperado. But obviously, I'm preaching to the choir here because this man, Ozzy Killmeister, has been in there with the Desperado so many times. And it's going to be another banger for that Cruiserweight Championship. But now it's time to talk about the main event. There only can be one Soul Survivor in the Soul Survivor match. We're having the team of the 5-star era and the Night Riders taking on Chris Farrow, Skits, Domino, and Lakai. Soul Survivor. And Axel, why don't you go ahead and break down the rules of this one?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Ozzy. You competed in this match, but it's going to be these two teams. We'll just call it Team A and Team B, right? These two teams are going to be competing against each other. Now, when one team is eliminated, the remaining men of the other team will now compete in a multi-man match, which means it could end in a fatal 4-way, it could end in a triple threat, it could end in a 2-on-2, but there will be a determining match after we compete in this epic 8-man tag team match. Who will be the Soul Survivor? There will only be one. And it's going to be very interesting because after you compete with these men in your team, you're now having to turn against them and know that there could only be one real winner in this match. Who will it be? Who will it be?
Did you get that memo from management? Where did you
I got that memo from management right before we went live. We went live. And just to corroborate with what I just said, Tyler and Lizzie were there to explain the rules. If I got them wrong, things may have changed in the time that you last competed in the Soul Survivor match.
Yeah.
So let's break this one down, Ozzy. How did the Soul Survivor match work when you participated in it.
When I was in the match, it was a traditional Survivor Series style elimination match, and it was me and Noah King remaining, and I beat Noah King.
Okay, and he was on the opposite team, correct?
Correct, and I became sole survivor.
Well, this is the last territory, so we're throwing that out the window because
no. Concussions, brother. Axel is right. Me and Noah King were on the same team, and he stabbed me in the back.
Okay.
There we go.
The bell rang. We were the winning team, and then he just hit me in the back of the head with a club or something. I can't remember. Concussions. But Axel is right. Axel is 100% right. The Soul Survivor match is a little different, a little twist at the end.
It's the last territory. They're not like us.
It's a unique CCW.
Let me pose this question. Let's say one of the teams wins. And there's 2 or 3, even 4 people on one team left.
Right.
Yes.
Who do you think out of each team has the chance to be sole survivor?
Ooh, interesting question. Let's pull it up. So we have the 5-star era and the Knight Riders on one team.
The 5-star Riders, by the way, for
the
that team.
The 5-star Riders.
Because I think 5-star era and the Knight Riders, they've been causing havoc all over CCW. So let's just call them the 5-star Riders and Team CCW.
5-star Riders and Team CCW it is, Mr. Cashmere. That is fantastic.
So here we go.
Personally, no matter what happens, I don't think anybody's going to be able to survive Lakai on either team.
Yeah.
Because when he gets in that ring, man, it's time to eat. And that man is hungry recently. Just winning BRCW tag team titles with Gangrel on Sunday.
Congrats, Lakai.
He's ready to, I think, show everybody that these 7 other guys have been mainstays in CCW while he's been handling his stuff. He's coming back to show that he's the top of the food chain.
He definitely is, and let's not forget this beef he's been having with the Knight Riders. Him and Gangrel defeated the Knight Riders, but he really wants to get his hands on Eddie Valentine. Eddie Valentine has been doing literally everything.
There, brother.
He's been doing everything not to get in there with Lakai. So I know that's one thing we're gonna have to pay attention with Lakai. Will his emotions get the better of him trying to go after Eddie Valentine? Because you have to worry about all the other men on the 5-star Riders. And speaking of the 5-star Riders, if you just talked about stabbing people in the back. I mean, the 5-star Riders if they all survive, will they all try stabbing each other in the back at the same exact time? Because it's the best in the business at doing it. You got Ricky Martinez, ERA, Eddie Valentine, and then you got the pupil Joe Garcia who's learning these tactics really quickly. So that's another thing we have to keep in mind.
Yeah, but guys, you need to remember though that look at these 2 teams. We have 4 singles wrestlers for the most part, and we have 2 tag teams. So Ricky and ERA, they have been friends for 15 plus years, tagging together, 10 years, obviously on and off, but they know they're like this, right? Same thing with Joe and Eddie. Eddie has taken, Joe under his wing and really trained him, and they're working so well together. They gel so well together with their contrast of styles. So I think that the collaborative aspect, the 5-star Riders are winning in that pool for me, right? And then you have the very eclectic move set for all of the other 4 guys. If those 4 guys can get together and really form a united front, I think that's going to be their best chance to beat the tag team specialists on the other side.
I agree.
So I think I'm just going to jump into it. I'm just going to give my pick. I think the sole surviving team will be Team CCW, and I think it will be between Domino and Lakai, and I think Domino pulls it out and becomes the sole survivor of CCW. Ozzy, who do you got?
I would be remiss to say that Lakai would be the top of the food chain, but you got 8 guys in there physically, but you also have 8 other personalities inside of Skitz's head. So I think technically everybody else is outnumbered, and my buddy might take the win if he can get under the right circumstances.
I'm not too
Did
good at
anybody
math,
else notice
but that
the
adds up.
flyer? His eyes are just in the back. Does that not creep
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
else out?
Yeah.
No. Look at that.
Stop, man.
Ooh,
So-
scary.
It's
It
an
is
awesome
quite a
flyer,
spooky.
too. Whoever
Yeah.
designed it in the design department.
They've been rocking so far. I mean, they have been pumping out some great things.
That-
Axel,
put the design department over. I'm just saying, because match
I mean-
cards, flyers, posters, advertisements, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of it. And
Ozzy, we
they
talked
don't
about
get enough
it.
appreciation.
We talked about you and me when we were there at the training facility watching old tape back like 3 years ago to now. Almost looks unrecognizable. Our production value, the last territory just keeps growing, just keeps getting bigger,
designers,
badder, and better. And Axel, who's your pick for Soul Survivor?
So for Soul Survivor, it's going to be pretty hard to really have a definite answer. Like Lizzie said, when you're talking about this tag team dynamic, you have two teams that are already very well used to being a tag team and working efficiently as said tag team. When you have 4 different personalities and then adding Skits, all 8 other personalities onto the other team, maybe there could be room for some miscommunication. Maybe they don't have the same chemistry or needed brotherhood or camaraderie that's going to be needed in order to get the job done as a tag team. But if you're looking at it as a team that could go all the way and maybe have that multi-man tag team match, I'm going to go with, like what Tyler said, the CCW guys with Pharaoh, Lakai, Skits, and who am I blinking on? Domino. But when it comes down to that fatal 4-way or multi-man, whichever one it could be, I would say my money's also going to be on Skits. I think Skits is always an unpredictable superstar that you have in the ring. You never really know what to expect from him, whether it's going to be the hee-hee-ha-ha magic trick or it's going to be like, holy heck, he's going to rip my head off in the next 2 seconds. So try not to curse, because I remember.
He likes to bite fingers.
Yeah, that's right. He might come for one of my fingers, and I like my fingers, so I'm going to try to avoid that man at all costs. So when you're
This is
talking
the
about
goat.
these... So that's what I would fall in this Soul Survivor match. I think many people are going to see Lakai as the favorite to win the match because he does have the strength advantage. But when you're talking about someone who could be that wild card, I always give it to Skits.
Every time.
And speaking of Lizzie, the GOAT, let's get the GOAT's pick.
Guys, I don't know where you've been the last few months, if you guys have been living under a rock or what, but my boy Domino is on fire, and he's my pick.
Muy caliente.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Domino, Papo, do it for the 305. Bring it home, baby. Bring it home. So, I mean, and this is what's awesome about this Soul Survivor match, how you can just think about all the different scenarios. What if this team stays? What if these
Ooh,
guys are there?
Team Domino.
Oh, Team Domino by Ozzy. And just so many different possibilities. Soul Survivor, man, it is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait till Saturday. Fans, of course, you got to join us. Breakout 36 Soul Survivor. You can get your tickets at ccwrestlingfl.com. It is this Saturday, but we are capping off May here, and we're heading straight into June. And Axel, June is absolutely stacked. Why don't you just give us a couple shows that are going to do? Because we have like 10. We have just a million. It keeps going.
So let's first talk about our upcoming shows. After Breakout, we're going to be returning June 1st, Bash at the Brew at the Unbranded Brewing Company, or Bash at the Brew 41. What we already talked about, just a little bit of the matches that we are going to have. We're going to break them down a little bit more next week on CCW Insider, but definitely get your tickets now for our first Saturday of the show, which is always going to be at the Unbranded Brewing Company, Bash at the Brew 41. Then we're going to move. It's going to be a little bit of a wonky month, but bear with us as we move over to our Havoc in Haze 3. That's going to be Saturday, June 8th in McNabb's Brewery in my backyard of Tampa, Florida. Usually we have Conquer Kissimmee before our Havoc in Haze shows, but this month is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be at Havoc in Haze June 8th, Saturday, June 8th. But then that following Saturday, Friday, June 14th, that's when we're going to be back at Sun on the Beach for Conquer Kissimmee 24. That's going to be an exciting weekend because right after that, we have a big show. In Port St. Lucie, we have Game of War. And that's going to be Saturday, June 15th at the Mid-Florida Credit Event Center that we're going to be there at Port St. Lucie once again after our big anniversary show. But those are going to be some of those shows that we're going to be coming up. You definitely want to get your tickets. There's the poster. Game of War, I'm going to be excited for that one, just like I'm excited to see my very first Soul Survivor match here with CCW. I actually can't wait to see what CCW brings to the table for Game of War. I've only heard stories of the matches that I've already missed out on, and I'm just excited to see what's going to happen. It's going to be insane, like you mentioned.
Man, unbelievable. I cannot wait for this next month. June, the last territory. We're just taking over one city at a time. Keep on going. Ozzy, you got something to say?
Were none of you at the last Game of War?
No.
No, I was
Oh
not.
my God, I watched it with my own eyes.
No.
Dude. Oh my God. Vinicius and Meadow went through the ring. They went through the ring. Okay, where they were connected, they went through that joint. Allen wasn't even in the match. He did a moonsault off the top on everybody.
Yeah.
He just was like, screw it. That was
There's gonna be
those two things alone. Gangrel making Ariel Levy tap out to a crossface, just everything.
Excuse me, someone lost a tooth.
Oh.
Yeah, Damien.
Oh,
he Fenrir jumped down, and I think he hit his face on Jackal's shoulder, and he lost like 2 teeth.
Yes.
It is war. It is war.
Yeah, man.
And there's no better way to experience all of this in person. That's why you all need to go get your tickets at CCW or CCWrestlingFL.com. Get them now before they sell out. So make sure you're there to experience the last territory in person, because you're going to see these type of matches that some of us have never witnessed, some of us want to witness. So it's definitely always a great night when you come out to the last territory and to get to experience these matches, because there's no one that's doing it like CCW. We say that time after time, but it's truth. And we're not being biased here. It's just the facts.
Ain't got no reason to lie, ain't got no reason to boast. Just tell them facts.
That's all we spit here is facts on CCW Insider. And I'm thinking that it's about time to wrap it up. It's been a great show. I mean, Ozzy, thank you so much for sticking with us. It was a great interview. And, man, the Cruiserweight champion, I can't wait to see what you do. I know you're going to be defending that belt all over Florida and in Nashville. And you're just going to be carrying that CCW banner proudly. Anything to plug, Ozzy, before we head out of here? Any last words?
Don't be a poser. Buy some merch. Come out to the shows.
Yeah.
Poser, brother.
Oh, I thought that was a Whataburger shirt the whole time.
Everyone thinks that.
What a poser. I'm a poser. I'm a poser.
The amount of comments or conversations that this shirt has already started since the moment that I bought it, and the first thing on anyone's mind is, oh, Whataburger. I like that place. Like, I do too, but it's not what you think. You should read the shirt again.
And then you call them a poser and they cry.
Pretty much. Man, come out. Everybody watching this, come out to CCW. You get to be in the crowd and witness the birth of the next biggest company in front of your eyes. It's worth the $20. If you can use somebody's code, I'm not going to plug anybody's code or mine. Use a code. Come out to the show. Stop missing out. Stop it. Don't be a poser. Come out to the shows.
He just had put a camera. That's it. His camera's destroyed. His camera's destroyed. It's not coming back on. I mean, people get knocked out by that. All right. Well, there goes Ozzy. He has got headbutted his camera. He is out of here. And I think we're going to be heading out of here. Axel, any final words?
Well, always follow us on our social medias, like I said, at CCW Alive TV, and always stay tuned every Wednesday here at 7 for CCW Insider, where we'll break down some of the next upcoming shows and matches that we have, and of course get really cool interviews with some of our superstars and champions like we had today with Ozzy Killmeister. We don't know who's going to be on next week, so find out by tuning in exactly here at 7 on CCW Insider. Lizzie, thank you so much for joining us, and Tyler, great job as always. Always a pleasure to share this platform with you guys.
Unbelievable show, guys. Thank you so much again, Lizzie and Axel, for joining us. And we're going to be heading out to that outro.
You have been watching CCW Insider, produced by Minutes to Bell Time in association with Coastal Championship